Never could have imagined the National Football League would be like this. Pre-dawn, police escorted players to stadiums that were shut down under lock and key. Inside, maximum security from the coaches who spent the night in penthouse skyboxes atop the stadium, to clubhouse boys below who not only set up the equipment but slept with it to make sure it was there in the morning. No, in their wildest dreams, they never could have imagined the National Football League would be like this. Arriving in darkness, welcomed by a locker room whose doors are locked and refuse to open. After first being bussed past a picket line of strikers whose jobs they have taken. No, in their wildest dreams, they never could have imagined the National Football League would be like this. But today, for 52 Chicago Bears and 54 Philadelphia Eagles, this is their induction into the National Football League. Far from the glamour of their wildest dreams, this is the reality of the 1987 National Football League Players' Strike. CBS Sports presents the National Football League. It's the Chicago Bears against the Philadelphia Eagles in a practically empty Veterans Stadium. And the crowd estimated right now at about 5,000 people. 41,000 season tickets returned to the Eagles. That was inside, and now you're looking outside, where striking NFL players are picketing, as well as AFL-CIO union supporters who have been around Veterans Stadium since early this morning. And right now, for an update on what's going on outside, we're going to send you to Irv Cross. Irv?
Dick, I'm going to have to avoid some traffic down here. Fans are still trying to struggle through the picket line here. And, you know, it's been a day where we get closer to the kickoff, more and more excitement begins to develop out here. Early on, one fan trying to come through the picket line was pushed down to the ground and treated kind of roughly. And then in a separate incident, a female police officer had her foot stepped on by one of the horses out here. She was taken away to the hospital. Hopefully she'll be fine. But, you know, I asked Michael McCaskey, the president of the Chicago Bears, if he can remember any time in the history of the National Football League a day like this. And, of course, his grandfather, George Hallis, helped found the league. He said, Irv, it reminded me of the 20s and in the 40s during the war years where we had to struggle and fight to keep teams on the field. It's a real test of how strong the game really is.
All right, Irv, thank you very much. And so, as you can see from the sobering pictures at the top of our broadcast and the report that Irv just gave, we have definitely a news story today as well as a sports story. And as far as the sports story, we have a football game, and it counts in the regular season standings between the Bears and the Eagles. Keep in mind that when you looked at the schedule before the season started, you would have said Bears-Eagles. Well, another confrontation between Mike Ditka, the head coach of the Bears, and Buddy Ryan, who had coached there, and bad blood between those two. But that's all gone by the wayside now because of the bigger story involved now. One thing we should report as we start this game is that no striking players on either side crossed the line. So these are all replacement players this afternoon. My partner, of course, is Terry Bradshaw. And Terry, I've got to ask something that everyone's been asking me. What can you anticipate in this game?
And you're asking me. I haven't the slightest idea. I talked to Mike Ditka. He said, I don't have any idea, Terry. I talked to Buddy Ryan. He says, don't ask me. I don't know what's going to happen. We're just going to play the game and let it unfold.
And actually, that's truthful. No one really knows what's going to happen. But, Terry, on another line, how difficult is it for these guys to join a club, practice for a few days or a week, and now play in this kind of circumstance?
Dick, it's extremely difficult. Number one, they have to learn an offense. They have to learn a defense. They have to learn a special teams, a passing game, the blitzing game, the trapping game, all the audibles, everything there is about football. These guys had to learn in 10 days. As a Steeler winning the World Championship, we practiced for 2 days just on how to line up in the huddle. These guys yesterday came out of here at this stadium, the Eagles that is, and practicing the pregame practice. Huh.
That's true, too. All right, the Philadelphia Eagles in white and Dave Jacobs, who has been around and actually has some NFL experience. The Eagles have 6 players who have been active players in the league. The Bears, 2. And Anthony Mosley, number 46, and Lorenzo Lynch are back there. Short, high kick, and it's going to Lorenzo Lynch at the 7-yard line for the Bears. And Lynch turning the corner past the 30 and knocked out of bounds after a good return by the kicker, David Jacobs. So you can see the enthusiasm of these guys, and this may be the only game they play. Who knows? And so it'll be the Chicago Bears. And Mike Hohensee will be the quarterback. And an eagle is shaken up on the field. And let's check to see whether it was the kicker. He's not a big man, is Jacobs, at 5'7", 151 pounds, and he helped make the tackle. Conditioning and injuries, obviously could be a very big factor in this game.
Conditioning is going to be the key factor, not early, but later on. Let's see what happens. As you can see, comes over to makes the tackle. He gets a little bit high, but it'll be, being a little bitty fella, and Jacobs just plows right over him. He says, grabs him in his chest. Now, good clear shot. He actually jumps off his feet and tries to tackle Jacobs. Jacobs outweighs him about 90 pounds and plowed him into the ground. Now, here's the question. Who's going to kick? Who'll be the kicker now? And I would have to say that you would look at Guido Merkins. Guido's defensive back. He's a quarterback, a running back, a wide receiver, and he also can punt.
You're right, and going into the game, Buddy Ryan says Dave Jacobs is going to do all of it for us. The place kicking and the punting, and Jacobs slow getting up. Jacobs out of Syracuse University, played in 5 games with the Cleveland Browns 6 years ago, and he is a little woozy as he comes to the sidelines. So the Chicago Bears, after the good return by Lynch, have a 1st and 10 on their own 45-yard line. Mike Hohensee, who now has played in 4 leagues. Anthony Mosley and Lake Hemule are the running backs, and it's Mosley, tackled by Troy West, the strong safety for the Eagles. The fans are here yelling at everything the Eagles do and booing the Bears when they were introduced. The Philadelphia defensive line, Marvin Ayers, Randall Mitchell, Ray Conlon, and Elo Grooms. He is a familiar player who's in his 12th season. Byron Lee, Fred Smalls, and Carlos Bradley are the linebackers. Victor Bellamy and Angelo James, the corners. Mike Coleman and Troy West, who just made the stop, are the safeties. 2nd and 9 at the 46. 240. And there's Hemule. And Hemule goes outside, and they have a 1st down for the Bears. And coming up and making the tackle for the Eagles is Carlos Bradley. The rest of the offense for the Bears, Ken Knapsick and Glenn Kozlowski are the wide receivers. Kozlowski wearing Willie Galt's number 83. Oliver, Wojciechowski, Rodenhauser, Relk, and Arp starting at tackle, and Brian Glasgow is the tight end. A 3rd down and 1 now. 214. And up the middle for the 1st down is Hemule, who made the final cut of the Bears this year, native of Tonga. So Chicago has a 1st down. Randall Mitchell making the tackle. So
Hemule is the only draft choice of the Bears that when they offered him the $1,000 to sign and come back in and play this game, he's the only one of the Bears that said, okay, I'll do it. He's signed, he's playing. He's the only one.
Dave Jacobs, the report is, just shaken up, and he'll be back in the game. It's a 1st and 10 for the Bears in Eagle territory at the 43. Hohensee with his first pass of the game, and he overthrows the intended receiver, Ken Knapsick. Hohensee now has been in 4 leagues, we said. The USFL, the Canadian Football League, Arena Football, and joined the Bears after being a bartender in the Washington, D.C. area.
I informed him yesterday that there might not be but 5,000 people here. He said, that's great. That is absolutely great, because now instead of doing all the hand signals, the coaches can just shout the plays out. So, there's 5,000 people. That makes, there's some good things that can come from it.
2nd down and 10. Mosley and Hemule. And on the draw play, there's Anthony Mosley. And Mosley carries it out to the 36-yard line. Mike Ditka, who felt sorry for himself at first, and now he has accepted the situation, and now he says, he likes the enthusiasm, and he's proud of what the players have accomplished in a short time.
Well, he said one thing you got to look at overall, these guys have a lot of guts, a lot of courage coming in, crossing those picket lines, and coming here and giving it their best effort. And he said the one thing I really like about it is these guys are out here and they're having fun. It's really nice to see them.
They go to the shotgun on 3rd and 4 for the Bears at the 37-yard line of the Eagles. And Knapsack goes in motion. Owensy against the blitz. Incomplete. He was going to Mosley out of the backfield, and the Eagles were coming in. I guess both teams kind of anticipate blitzes.
Buddy Ryan, in setting the Eagles early in the week, played nothing but 3-4, 3 down linemen and 4 linebackers. After 2 days of working the 3-4, because all of these kids had either played college as a 3-4 or played in high school, he felt like that's the best defense to use. After 2 days, he said, I got bored with this junk. He said, I got rid of that blitzing Sam, blitzing Will, and decided to go back to Eagle football, which is 4 down linemen, and get after them.
All right, they're going to go for it on 4th and 4.
All right.
All right, the key play here in this drive. Why not? Opening drive of the game, and rolling out is Owensy, and it's knocked down. And a fine play made by number 53, Fred Smalls, the linebacker. Fred Smalls, who originally was a draft choice by the San Diego Chargers, knocked the ball down, and a fine play by Smalls. He looks at this as his second and maybe last chance to show somebody. Timeout. Held on 4th down. So Mike Ditka going for on a 4th and 4 on the first possession. He told us yesterday if we can come up with 7 points earlier, anyone can in this game, could be a big edge. So the quarterback is Scott Tinsley out of USC. Reggie Brown and Jacques Robinson are his running backs on the 37-yard line. The Eagles with their first possession. And there's Brown. Reggie Brown out to the 43-yard line. Tackled by Mike January. Philadelphia's offense, Brown and Robinson the running backs, Otis Grant and Kevin Bowman the wide receivers. Neese, Walters, Long, Leggett, and Perino up front with Eric Bailey the tight end. Gain of 6 that time by Reggie Brown. And this is Jacques Robinson, and Robinson is knocked back. And good aggressive Bear defense. Where have we heard that before? Jay Norvell, number 91. The Chicago Bears defense, Sean McInerney, Eugene Rowell, Jim Altoff, and John Norris. Bobby Bell, whose dad was a star with the Kansas City Chiefs, Mike January and Jay Norvell, who made that last tackle, McCray, Lorenzo Lynch, Steve Trimble, and Egypt Allen in the secondary. Trimble also has NFL experience. 3rd and 4 at the 43 for Scott Tinsley.
239.
And Tinsley loses the ball. On a fumble, the Bears have recovered. In Eagle territory at the 35, Jim Altoff recovered the fumble for the Bears after John Norris made the hit.
Tinsley coming out in a play action, notices that no one is there, turns around, and there all the Bears are sitting right in his face. John Norris, 98, is the one that forced the fumble, and Altoff coming over, number 70, and making the fumble recovery, but no one there. One of the problems you can expect in this game is miscommunication between the running backs and the quarterbacks.
So the Bears with the ball in Eagle territory with 11:15 to go in the first quarter. Anthony Mosley goes to the air and gets to the 30-yard line. Fred Smalls making the tackle. Buddy Ryan, we asked him about the crowd or lack of it. He says, you know, I never hear the crowd anyway because I'm concentrating so much.
Now, do you believe that? Honestly, do you believe that? I don't believe that either. And I don't think Buddy thought that we believed him. I sat there real kind of kind and courteous when he said that, but I didn't believe it.
I think you always know there's a crowd.
If there's 500 here, you hear them. And we've got 5,000.
2nd down and 6 for the Bears on the Eagle 30. No score. Mule gets close to first down yardage near the 25-yard line.
One of the problems, Dick, or not a problem, but yeah, it is a problem that Ditka and Ryan both had to find out was which of their offensive linemen were the better blockers and which of their running backs were the better backs. They put them on the same side and run to that lineman. So what you've seen in this game so far is pitches and runs to Wojciechowski, the 73, the left guard, and Jack Oliver, the left tackle. That's where the Bears are going to attack all day.
It'll be 3rd and 1 at the 25. He says expect everything off the left side. In motion goes Heimule. Quarterback sneak and a first down. Mike Hohensee.
When in doubt and you need a powerful play, give it to the power back, the quarterback. That's the way I look at it.
You know, when Hohensee has impressed Mike, and yesterday he gave us a wink to say that maybe this guy could stick with the Bear team. Could you imagine all the quarterbacks they have there? And
he set you up, Dick. Yeah. He set you up and you fell for it.
He's been around, including the Pittsburgh Gladiators.
350. 350.
1st and 10 at the 22. Anthony Mosley knocked back by Randall Mitchell. Anthony Mosley, by the way, gained 51 yards in a preseason game against the Miami Dolphins. He's out of Fresno State.
Kind of strange, isn't it, when you're in the 3rd game of the season and you're using preseason rushing yardage to tell them what a back's been doing. 50 yards against whoever.
There are some scores in games underway. 2nd and 9. Bears at the Eagle 21. Hohensee with a quick toss. Caught by Don Kint. Tight end. Inside the 15-yard line, Mike Coleman making the tackle. Don Kint, who, by the way, his dad was a #1 draft pick by the Bears back in 1947. Don Kint was a running back.
Buddy Ryan said we're going to blitz this entire game. And in the first few series, they blitzed someone every play. That time, the strong safety, Troy West, he blitzed. Good job by Hohensee picking up Kent.
Kozlowski and Knapczyk are the wide receivers. Kozlowski to the top of your picture. 3rd down and 2. Penalty marker down, and it would be a first down for Heimule. And amazingly enough, Terry, with 7:52 to go in the first quarter, that's our first penalty, and that's pretty impressive.
Well, you're talking about two teams that are well coached. I mean, Ditka and these guys have drilled these kids for 10, 12 hours. Buddy Ryan had drilled them, and so to have 1 penalty just after 7 minutes of play, I think it's pretty doggone good.
Offside, defense, first down.
Brett Wyatt, our referee, and it's a first down. They had it anyway, so it is a first down for the Bears. They, by the way, have closed down the upper deck here at Veterans Stadium. You won't find any fans there, even if they had enough. They just shut it down. Everyone is in the lower stand. 1st and goal at the 9.
2:15.
And Hohensee ducks 1. And the pass is dropped inside at the 5-yard line. Hohensee ducked under the pass rush. Pass was intended for Knapczyk, and depending on the play was Victor Bellamy. There's the upper deck at Veterans Stadium. Empty.
Very empty. But the cheerleaders are here, and that's the main thing.
That's the main thing. We'll be hearing them, too. Bears have fewer players with NFL experience than the Eagles going in, if you count that as the barometer. 2nd down and goal at the 9. And Hohensee off balance, completes it to Heimule, and Heimule is in for the touchdown. A 9-yard score, and the Chicago Bears take a 6-0 lead.
Look at this. Got some Bear fans travel all the way from Chicago to support this team. From the end zone, you'll be able to, you can look and find that the blitz was coming up the right center of your screen. Hohensee doing a fine job of getting outside. And then, of course, Heimule wide open. Good job by these two guys. And you got to know that they feel good knowing that they're representing the real Bears, and they're out here and they've got a touchdown pass in this first quarter.
There's Tim Lasher, who kicked at Oklahoma. He was in the Rams camp this year, and he'll try to add the 7th point, and the kick is good. So with 7 minutes and 23 seconds remaining in the first quarter, a key fumble gave the Bears an opportunity. 7-0. 7-0 in the first quarter of this game involving replacement players, non-union players. Tim Lasher, who kicked at Oklahoma before big crowds. And then Mike Ditka said to us yesterday, well, we won't have big crowds. And what did he kick at Oklahoma? Extra points in 61-0 games.
Well, in case they do have abundance of folks in the second half, he'll be used to the crowd. See that? You got to plan ahead.
Kevin Bowman is back for the Eagles. End over end and a short kick, and Bowman coming up, grabs the ball out of a teammate's hand and barrels up the middle beyond the 30-yard line. And that's where the Eagles will take over for their second possession of the ball game. And right now, let's go down to Irv Cross. Irv?
Dick, I got Mike Quick here with me. He was the Eagles' 4-time Pro Bowl wide receiver. Mike, you went through a protracted holdout this summer and signed a multi-year contract, a long-term contract, multi-million-dollar contract. Why are you out on strike?
I'm out on strike because all the guys that save me every Sunday are out here. We're fighting for better rights, not only for right now. We're fighting for better benefits for the guys that are going to play this game after we're gone.
Mike, what's your impression of what you're seeing out here? Seeing the plans come through and the picketers and all?
It's more than I could have ever expected. The fan support is phenomenal. The local unions came down and they're doing a great job showing that they really do appreciate the real Eagles.
All right, Mike. Thanks for being with us. Dick?
All right, Irv, and I'll make sure while you're out there, I say let's go out to Irv Cross and not down to Irv. In any event, Mike Quick, and as you saw, Scott Tinsley completed a pass to Reggie Brown for 9 yards. Scott Tinsley, who has been in the Rams camp, and you told him he was starting yesterday, didn't you?
I went up to him after their practice, and I said, what do you feel about this game, more starting and all? He looked at me and he said, I'm starting this game. I said, that's right.
He didn't know. Jacques Robinson gets the first down. Good hard running by Jacques Robinson. Right now, let's go to New York for an NFL Today update. And Brett Musburger.
And the Lions lead it. It's 7-0 over the Buccaneers. Let's go back to Dick and Terry.
Thank you, Brent. Brent, you got to know the names of everyone in the league this week. We just had to know 2 teams. 1st and 10 for the Eagles near midfield on their own 47. There looked like a blitz coming, and Reggie Brown gets stopped for maybe a yard, and that's all.
You know, one of the things we talked about was the conditioning of this football team, and if I were a quarterback and really wanted to throw the ball deep, I'd throw the ball deep early in the first quarter, first part of the second quarter, because third and fourth quarter we're subject to some muscle pulls and cramps and all those things.
Reggie Brown, you want to talk about why players want to have another chance. We'll try to tell you that story perhaps soon. 2nd and 7 in midfield. Brown will be the chief ball carrier for the Eagles today. Play action this time, and incomplete pass. Egypt Allen. There's one for the name book. Egypt Allen coming in on a blitz, and that'll go as an incompleted pass. But Reggie Brown, who was a 4th-round draft pick by the Atlanta Falcons in '82 and returned kicks for them, said when he first came into the NFL, he was so impressed with the money, getting the cars. He was swept away by all the glamour things, and he says he squandered one opportunity. Went to the Canadian League, got hurt, now he's back. He says, you know, I learned my lesson, and I'm really glad I have another chance if it happens to be.
Opportunity. How many times will it knock in one's career? You never know.
3rd down and 7 at midfield. 5:16 remaining in the first quarter. Tinsley has a lot of time, and he dumps it off to Brown, and Reggie Brown is nailed at the 45-yard line by Eugene Rowell. Close to a first down. Let's see if we have a measurement.
When I used to play this game, one of the things I really liked to do, I always wanted to come out and throw maybe a little screen or something to get that first completion or that first down. It kind of made you feel good and gave you a little confidence. And coming out right now, Tinsley getting this little screen and getting the first down, that's got to boost them around a little bit. And they got to feel, all right, now we'll throw the ball. Now we'll run the football. Who knows?
3rd down and 4. Make it 1st and 10 now for the Eagles at the 43-yard line. What can make this game competitive, of course, is the fact that you don't have a preponderance of advantage like we talked about the Cardinal-Redskin game. This is not that way. Tinsley
Got it.
going deep for Otis Grant. And nearly made a sensational catch. Bruce McCray defending. Otis Grant, he has played some with the Rams in his career. Well, what a defensive play by Bruce McCray.
McCray will have Grant all the way. Now, you can take the time. Let's see how much time Tinsley has to throw the football. We said maybe they should throw early. Maybe they heard what we said. He's going to drop back. He's going to have plenty of time. He gets set, pumps, and then throws deep. Little technical problem on the replay.
He did have time. 2nd down and 10. And a quick toss. Incomplete. Kevin Bowman was the intended receiver. Bowman, rated by Buddy Ryan, is really one of the players with some talent he feels in his group.
He's one of these kids that they've looked at, and after a couple of days of practice and have watched him run routes, Dick, he said, you know, this kid's got some speed, some quickness, goes up, catches the ball, and if this settlement between the players and the owners, if we get a settlement, he's one of the kids, if they get that extended roster, that the Eagles might consider keeping.
After the incompletion, 3rd and 10, 4:28 remaining first quarter. The Bears lead the Eagles 7-0. Here comes a blitz. Tinsley under pressure, fires and completes the pass, and a fine play by Mike Ciano. Well, Mike Ciano normally plays rugby in Philadelphia. Today he's a pass receiver.
Blitz straight up the middle. Norvell coming on outside, and there's Tinsley doing a good job of getting rid of the football before he was hit, and Ciano went down, simply turned around. If there was a mistake there, it was made by McCray, the corner, as he played way too far off that time of Ciano and gave him opportunity to make the catch.
And another big first down for the Eagles on the Bear 31. The flip to Brown. Reggie Brown to the 30-yard line. Jim Altoff making the tackle. And now for an NFL Today report, let's check in with Brent Musburger in New York. Brent?
Well, Dick, our good friends at NFL Films are going to love some of this footage. Let's call this the son of football follies. The Buccaneers trying to punt had a little bit of difficulty down there, folks. And right now it is Detroit 10, the Buccaneers nothing. Let's go back to Dick Stockton.
Well, we haven't had sloppy play so far in this game.
This has been a good game.
2nd and 9 at the 30 for the Eagles, trying to get on the scoreboard or tie this game up. And a penalty marker down. 30-second clock expired, and delay of the game call against Scott Tinsley.
Scott Tinsley, one of the problems they were going to have is getting the signals. They were concerned about the players that were bringing the plays in, not being able to, time they got there, they go, and then have to leave. So Tinsley and the other quarterbacks got together last night and developed their own hand signals in case the crowd noise or the players couldn't get the plays to them.
Best way to do it.
You bet.
2nd and 14, back at the 35. More pressure on Tinsley. Tinsley going for Grant. Incomplete. Double coverage on Otis Grant by McCray and Trimble. And there's Otis Grant, who caught 21 passes in 2 years with the LA Rams. And drafted by the Pittsburgh Pirates as an outfielder and a first baseman.
Tinsley doing a good job of reading. If there's one thing I've noticed in the receivers so far, it's that coming out of the break, they don't have the explosion, really explode and go for the ball. Looks like their legs are dead.
3rd and 14.
Tired legs.
Shotgun. Only one penalty in the game thus far. Pass thrown behind Grant and nearly intercepted by Steve Trimble, one of 2 Bears with NFL regular season experience. I said, we've had 2 penalties in the ball game. And with 2:38 remaining, Dave Jacobs, who was shaken up on the opening kickoff for the Eagles, their kicker, comes on now and well, he can punt or place kick, and it looks like he's getting ready for a 3-point attempt. This would be a 52-yard attempt. His career high is 42 yards in the NFL. Guido Merkins will hold. And they want to get a new football in there. A lot of people thought why Merkins was, of course, been in the league a long time, and why wasn't Guido Merkins, a versatile player, the quarterback. Tinsley had the better arm, according to Buddy.
Tinsley had the better arm, and their plans in this game were to use Guido Merkins as possibly a defensive back or even a running back or a receiver as the game goes on because the players getting tired.
Jacobs' kick, no good, and there's no play. There was an illegal procedure call against the Eagles prior. That's Jerry Bergman, the head linesman.
Right tackle.
Well, now they're really out of field goal range, and we'll see what the Eagles attempt here. They will punt it away now, and Jacobs, of course, stays in the game to do the booting. 7-0. The Bears leading on a 9-yard touchdown pass from Mike Hohensee to Lakahimule. Low snap, and he made up for it. Fair catch called for inside the 5-yard line. Well, normally you wouldn't see it, and that was George Duarte. So the Bears will start at their 5, and good alert play by Jacobs after the low snap. We're back here at Veterans Stadium, and Terry, normally we get to the stadium, what, 2.5 hours before the game? What about today?
Well, I got up at 4:30 and left at 5:30. I've been here a long time waiting for this exciting game.
You should have had a cot here yourself. Bears on the 5-yard line, 1st and 10. And the handoff to Anthony Mosley. Mosley carries it out to the 11-yard line.
Mosley, a young man cut by the Steelers this year. They really liked him, and then, of course, the Bears brought him in. He was one of their last cuts. You know, in a game like this, these young kids, and a lot of people say, well, this game, you know, these guys aren't that good, but they really are. They're not quite up to what was here, but a lot of these guys can really show themselves and might find themselves a spot somewhere around the National Football League.
2nd down and 4 at the 11-yard line after the 6-yard carry by Mosley. And Mosley gets the call again, and diving for 1st down yardage is thrown back by Fred Smalls. And, you know, it was a good thing that we got here early, because judging by some of the pictures we saw at the start of the game with some of the fans who try to make their way in, security was important. And so, you know, that's why we had to come in the same kind of darkness you saw the players come in at the top of this thing.
A lot of people in the elevator. My elevator, we had a fire alarm this morning. Makes things nice. I met a couple of nice friends on the elevator that had forgotten their clothes going down to the bottom to get out of the building on fire. Crazy day.
So far, yeah. 3rd and 3. Ball at the 12. Winding down to a minute remaining in the 1st quarter. And Hohensee has his pass batted down. Mike Hohensee, only 6 feet tall. Right now, for an NFL Today report, let's again go to Brent Musburger in New York. Brent?
Well, from the Dick and Terry, we got a pattern. The kicking games today are going to be critical, almost like Dick.
All right, Brent, thank you very much. Elo Grooms knocked down that pass, and now Kevin Brown will be kicking from the end zone, and Kevin Bowman is at midfield for the Eagles. That's a pressure kick, and a great kick by Kevin Brown. Back to Bowman at the 40 into Bear territory, and Bowman gets loose, and Bowman gets to the 30-yard line and inside the 25. Bobby Bell made the tackle. A 49-yard kick. Great kick by Brown, but the return of 38 yards by Kevin Bowman for the Eagles.
Well, something you really don't expect in this game is great special teams, but this is an outstanding job by Bowman, cutting in, cutting out, picking up a block here and there, and then finally legging it on down to the 24-yard line.
That's the kind of speed in the open field you were talking about before. There's Bowman, wide receiver out to the right, 1st and 10 at the 23. And Reggie Brown hung up at the line. The Bears like their defensive line. Mike McCaskey was telling us yesterday, he says, I don't know about pro experience, but I think we have a pretty good defensive line out there.
Well, the defensive line that they have is they're going to do the same things that the Bears have always done. Line up with 4 down linemen, get in that 4-3, tighten everything up, and then shoot the linebackers and the safeties, and he puts a lot of pressure on them. But when he evaluated the whole group, he said defensive line's the best bunch we have.
Well, the Bears coming in as one of 4 unbeaten, untied teams in the league, and the Eagles, last game they played was an impressive victory over the Saints. 2nd and 12, and here they come again. Tinsley. And it's incomplete. Pass intended for Ciano. He was out of bounds. Defended by Bruce McKay with 1 second remaining in the first quarter. Well, with all but 1 second remaining in this quarter, Terry, this has been a penalty-free game. We've had 1 turnover in the ball game.
Special teams haven't been bad. We've had a 4th down play converted. We've had a touchdown off a blitz. I would say a pretty doggone well-played game.
Tinsley's completed 1 of his last 6. 3rd down and 12 at the Bear 25. Look at him line up for the blitz. Tinsley gets rid of it, and it's nearly picked off by Egypt Allen. And that's the last play of the first quarter. So that is the end of the first quarter here at Veterans Stadium with the non-union players, with the Bears leading the Eagles 7-0. Merkins holding, and the kick may not be long enough. Missed by about 8 yards, no good. So Jacobs misses a field goal, and it is still the Bears 7-0. And Chicago Bears have yet to be penalized and have yet to commit a turnover in this game, and so maybe a feather in the cap for Mike Ditka's crew so far. Right now, let's go down to Irv Cross in the stadium. Irv?
We're here in the stands with a bunch of fans who are diehard football fans. And why are you two guys here?
We're here because our roommate Chuck Crack is playing for the Eagles.
What's your name?
Regan Mahoney.
What's your name?
Michael Kovac.
What happened during the course of the week? You guys are roommates. Grecky, of course, is the linebacker for the Eagles. What happened all week long?
We've had a few threatening calls at our house. I really don't think much of it. And I know Chuck, he just wants to play a game.
Well, what kind of calls?
I have people telling, like, threatening his girlfriend and his parents. I know his parents had phone calls at his house. And, you know, I support these football players, and I think, you know, they play a hard sport, and this is one of the harder sports to play. But when you start, you know, doing things like that, threatening innocent people, it's just, I don't think it's right.
All right, lots of fireworks, both on and off the field. Dick?
Thank you, Irv. And Mike Coensy completes the pass to Ken Knapsick, who has a first down, and that's the real unpleasant side of what this situation is all about. 12-yard pickup and a first down.
One of the things these games do, they count. Win or lose, you walk out of here, you win or lose in this game. Buddy Ryan watching that field goal attempt a while ago. You think he knows that this game counts? Watch this. He said, I can't believe he missed it. That's his exact words.
Something like that. 1st and 10. Bears on the 37, leading still 7-0 here. And Heimule is knocked out of bounds at the 44-yard line by Angelo James and Ray Phillips. So one thing Heimule will always be able to say is, I scored a touchdown in a National Football League game.
They're running that football over Oliver and Wojciechowski, and one of the things that you have to be concerned about using these guys so much is there's only one offensive lineman behind them to spell either one of those guys, and it could really become a problem later.
2nd down and 3 now at the 44-yard line, opening minutes of the second quarter. Heimule this time goes right, penalty markers down, and it would be a first down if it goes to midfield, where Troy West and Ray Phillips make the stop for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Number 75 in motion, offense.
Penalty against the Bears, their first penalty of the game. Well, on the scoreboard, we're going to take a look at some scores. Atlanta over Pittsburgh 3-0 here.
You gotta be kidding
in the
me.
second quarter. See? Look at Detroit. Thought you told me Tampa Bay was improved this year.
Well, they were. They're having a little setback right now. Cincinnati taking on the Chargers. Washington over St. Louis. Washington over St. Louis. Cardinals got all those guys in there.
See?
Fumble.
And a mix-up, fumble. And the Eagles, let's wait and see. They're pointing that as if they have the ball. And they do. First turnover of the game by the Bears. It was Mosley who fumbled. And a recovery by Carlos Bradley. And look at a lonely man out there. It's Mike Ditka.
Looks like he'd like to make a salute here, doesn't it? You know, I asked Ditka, I said, now, did you give these guys a taste of your temperament? And he said, I made the mistake early in the week of losing it. Totally lost control, but then I realized I better cool it because they may not really understand that I actually love them.
On the 38, Tinsley's pass. He got a good rush inside. Incomplete. So it's second down and 10. And as we said at the outset, we didn't know what we were going to see today. We didn't know if it'd be a comedy of errors or if it'd be decent. And so far, it's been pretty decent. Tinsley, by the way, has missed his last 5 passes.
Well, he's one of those slow starters. Things will get heated up here in a minute.
Second and 10 at the 38. Eagles in Bear territory. Tinsley sprints out and a fine catch. Is that Ciano? It is. Mike Ciano. And let's see where they spot it. Maybe shy of a first down. It's awfully close.
Those big, slow wide receivers have a great knack for being able to work a defensive back. A big, fast guy, he just burns it down there and turns out. But a slow, tall guy can work his way, wiggle, waggle in, and get outside. Tinsley popped him the football. Ciano made the catch.
Third down and 1. 7-0 to score in favor of the Bears. Quarterback sneak. And Tinsley appears to have it. He didn't need much. It is a first down for the Philadelphia Eagles as they continue to drive in the second quarter of this game. Well, we asked Bears head coach Mike Ditka yesterday if he empathized with his new group of replacement players.
This is part of the American dream. They're just trying to grasp one last straw. It's like a guy going down for the 3rd time. He wants to grab, he wants to live. And that's all they're trying to do. That's all they want out of life. They're not bad kids, believe me.
I guess not. And Jacques Robinson breaks a tackle or 2. Penalty marker down, a face mask apparently. Egypt Allen of the Bears. But Jacques Robinson accelerates for a first down and more inside the 10.
Face mask, 5 yards, number 47, first down.
He'll mark off half the distance. Egypt Allen, who is a prep All-America at a famed high school in Dallas, South Oak Cliff High. That's produced a lot of players.
A lot of good players. Mike Ditka's running his plays to the left because of Wojciechowski, and you're seeing Buddy Ryan run his to the right because he feels that his best player in the offensive line is right tackle 64 Perino. So one's going to the right, one's going to the left.
First and goal at the 4. And the Eagles looking to tie this game up. Tinsley. Incomplete. He was going for Eric Bailey as tight end. Talking about Ditka's feelings about the players who were in there. He says, I now know that Mike Ditka has never coached other than the NFL, and he's really angry now. I guess he's changed. He says, I have a very good understanding of what my high school coach saw when he first saw me, because all he coached was Dallas and now Chicago.
Yeah. What he meant by that was, plain and simply, he didn't see a lot. Ditka even surprised himself.
Second and goal. Brown. Reggie Brown and Egypt Allen caught up with him.
Dick, I'm really impressed. Well, not impressed, but I'm surprised that they're continue running the basic plays that they would run if they had their regular team in there. This is a game I would think that would be a lot of fun to take these guys and do a lot of crazy things and get outside, throw little picks, which are illegal, and a lot of little fancy things rather than sprinting right and going up the middle.
Guido Merkins is in at quarterback now for the Eagles on 3rd and goal at the 4.
He'll run it.
Merkins is going to run it, and he's going to be stopped back beyond the 10-yard line by Jay Norvell. Now, why did you knew that Merkins was going to run, and why?
Guido Merkins is a total athlete. He's got a nice arm, but he's a kid that can play a lot of positions, and when they bring him in here, they want to run the options. Get him out wide. If he's got pressure, dump the ball off. If there is no pressure, he has a guard leading, and he can go up inside and get a touchdown. Neither happened.
Well, Merkins stays in the game.
Neither happened.
Boy, he has been a holder, a punt returner, a defensive back.
He took my brother's position in Houston. The reason my brother got cut by the Oilers was because of this guy.
And you still like him?
Yeah, I still like him.
Dave Jacobs' field goal is good from 27 yards out, and the Eagles are on the board here.
Nice guy.
That's why you like him.
That's right.
Dave Jacobs with a 27-yard field goal after Philly had first and goal at the 4, but it's 7-3, the Bears. Dave Jacobs will be kicking off, and they're the cheerleaders. He said everyone comes to see the cheerleaders, and, you know, the natural question is, who are they cheering for? I mean, we're not looking at a big throng in the stands, but the fans who are here on a really beautiful afternoon for football so far have been treated to pretty decent football at the level they're seeing.
Not bad.
Jacobs will be kicking to Anthony Mosley and Lorenzo Lynch. Lynch had a 37-yard return. And here's Lynch the last time, and Lynch picking his way is stopped at about the 35-yard line by Christopher Johnson. Bears on offense leading 7-3 in this game. Lorenzo Lynch, Division II All-America, so they come from all over. Talked to Joe Woolley yesterday. They have a ready list, and then after that they really have to hustle to get their player. Joe Woolley is the guy in charge of putting together this Eagle team.
Right. We even went so far as to say if the Eagles win, are you going to get carried off the field? Buddy Ryan said this is my team.
It's either Bill Tobin of the Bears or Joe Woolley of the Eagles. 1st and 10 at the 36 now. Play action for Hohensee.
Run.
Yeah, that's what he's going to do, and he's going to get a first down. Looked like he could run forever as he's chased out of bounds by Fred Smalls, and a gain of 18 yards. And now for an NFL Today report. Let's go again to Brent Musburger in New York. Brent?
Dick, the truth is most of the games are competitive. The St. Louis Cardinals drive back on the Redskins. The veteran Earl Farrell in for the touchdown. That one tied at 7. The only route, New Orleans over the Rams by 20. Let's go back to Dick and Terry.
All right, Terry, thank you very much. So Hohensee with an 18-yard scamper gives the Bears a 1st and 10 in Eagle territory. 11:08 remaining in the first half. 7-3 Chicago. Mosley got hit hard that time, and there's a marker down. Byron Lee on the stop. Fred Wyatt out of West Virginia, our official today. And once again, you can't emphasize more the fact that this game counts in the standings.
Holding number 82, first down.
Brian Glasgow, the tight end. And that'll bring him back. That's the 3rd penalty against the Bears all here in this 2nd quarter. You know, these guys have to be kind of excited wearing NFL uniforms. I mean, they're non-union players. We've emphasized that. But here they are wearing the blue and orange of Chicago.
I know Ryzik of the Eagles was excited yesterday when he put his uniform on and said, oh, my gosh, they spelled my name right.
That didn't happen in Atlanta when he first got there. 1st down and 20. Hohensee, chase, deflected, incomplete. Hohensee under a great rush. Well, Irv Cross is all over the place. He's outside, inside. Let's check with him inside, upstairs near where we are. Irv?
I'm here in the press box, and because the writers are working, and Ron Reed here, the Philadelphia Inquirer, is here. He's been covering pro football for a number of years. Ron, what's your assessment of what you're seeing here?
To me, Irv, the game's been robbed of its spectacle. We don't have the great all-pro athletes here who are capable of making the great all-pro plays. So the game is been kind of a mundane affair.
You think pro football can recover from this?
Well, I think the game can recover if they get about the business of recovering in time. I think week after week of these kind of games will really hurt the game tremendously.
Thanks for being with us, man.
You bet.
Dick.
All right, Irv. Ken Knapsick on a 19-yard pickup gained all but 1 yard back from that penalty. Knapsick, who was a mill worker in Mokina, Illinois, when he was called back with this opportunity. And, you know, Ron Reed does have a point, is that we don't really have the superstar that people pay their way in to see.
Yeah, but we were told to come here and do this game, and Ron Reed and the writers have a chance to sit down and come up with these beautiful illustrations and words, and we can't do that. We've got to do a game here, and we've got to do the best we can with what these guys are giving us. And I'm going to take my hats off to them. It's not bad.
Hemule carries and a penalty marker down. Ken Knapczyk, who has tried to make it with the Bears as a free agent the last 2 years out of northern Iowa.
Offside, number 51.
That penalty against the Philadelphia Eagles, Chuck Gorecki, the linebacker. So the wide receiver Knapczyk has some thoughts on his opportunity playing as a replacement player for the Bears.
I'm not looking at for an opportunity to come back in or anything like that. More of an opportunity to get an education. That's why I'm here. You know, I'm a year away from my degree in that, and the money's right for it, and you know, that's really, you know, the only reason why I'm really here.
He's caught 2 passes for 31 yards, and this pass to Kozlowski inside the 25-yard line by Hohensee, shy of a first down by a yard.
Kozlowski was a freshman at BYU, and Jim McMahon was there, and actually everyone said that he would be maybe 3rd or 4th round draft choice. Tore his knee up. They brought him in, tried to rehabilitate it. He's done a fine job, but he just hasn't been able to come up and make any football teams.
And of course, you know the name Kozlowski. His brother Mike, defensive back for the Miami Dolphins. 2nd and 1 at the 23 with 8:42 remaining in the first half. And close to the first down is Hemule, and he has it. So the Bears with a first down.
A lot of Polish pride out here today, Dick, with Knapczyk on the left and Kozlowski on the right, 2 Polish wide receivers. The first, I never played with a Polish wide receiver, let alone 2 of them, but these guys not doing too bad.
Well, you had Stallworth, and you had Swan, and you had all those greats. You know, you didn't.
And they may have been Polish. They may have been. I just didn't know it.
Probably not, but you didn't need a Polish receiver. There's the time remaining in the first half. 1st and 10. Bears threatening and leading in this game, 7-3. And here's an inside blitz, and Hohensee gets rid of it, and it's caught for the touchdown. Glenn Kozlowski with a 20-yard reception. And boy, Hohensee read that perfectly.
Hohensee saw the blitz coming up, made the audible 489, 489, 4 being the snap count, repeated it again. Got the blitz, got the man-for-man coverage. Kozlowski beat his man, Bellamy, and there's the pass, laid it right up there. Nice job of Kozlowski coming underneath and making the catch for the touchdown.
And that'll make it 13-3 in favor of the Bears. Tim Lasher. And the kick is good, and the Bears now lead 14-3. Kozlowski with smiles, and here's a reaction by Hohensee.
Well, from arena football to the National Football League, maybe an opportunity, like Ditka said, hey, you know, I might want to keep this guy. Who knows?
Maybe he wasn't putting me on after all.
You could be right.
There's Kevin Bowman, who is back for the Eagles, as they'll accept the kickoff from Lasher. It is 14-3, and the 2 touchdowns in the game. Hemule on a 9-yard reception, and Kozlowski from 20 yards, both out of Brigham Young University, and both thrown by Mike Hohensee. 14-3, and the wind blows the ball off. One thing that is apparent, that is, if you play the Super Bowl before 1,500 or 5,000 people, will not look as good as a high school championship game before 60,000. The crowd and the volume of the crowd adds everything really to a sporting event.
Well, that's what it is. It's the masses of people gathered to enjoy the entertainment of the professional athletes. That's what spurs you on. Empty this place out, and you could put anyone in here, and it'd still be boring.
Lasher needs the ball held as he hits an end-over-end kick, and it's Bowman at the 9-yard line. Trapped, nowhere to go, and out of bounds at the 21 by Bruce McCray. Now let's go to Brent Musburger for an NFL Today report in New York.
Dick, we've just...
And that game is a surprise with the Redskins leading. 1st and 10 for the Eagles, who trail 14-3 on the 22. Jacques Robinson, as penalty markers fly, is tackled by Steve Trimble. And holding called against Philadelphia. Irv Cross is with the owner of the Philadelphia Eagles. Irv?
Holding, number 64.
And they great pride in wearing that Eagle uniform. And, you know, to be honest, right now, watching this game, it sort of hurts me. How do you react?
Oh, I think it hurts everyone. I think it's a tragedy for the fans. I think it's especially for the fans. And when you look at the hooliganism and mobsterism that occurred outside of our stadium, it's a tragedy for the city of Philadelphia. The city worked very hard to polish itself up for the 200th anniversary of the Constitution. And everything that our founding fathers really tried to accomplish, you saw the exact opposite outside those gates today. The only thing that was missing today in Philadelphia was the Ku Klux Klan.
Oh, that's pretty strong, isn't it, Norm?
You bet your life. If you were out there, you saw the way people were jostled around and so forth, and it fits perfectly with what Gene Upshaw said would happen in Philadelphia. I have his quote right here in front of me from the paper. This is right from the Philadelphia papers. Trade union plans to blitz the vet on Sunday, and that's exactly what occurred.
But you don't think any of the players or the Players Association's office intended anything?
I think what Gene Upshaw did was take the lid off of that bottle in order for all the ghouls and the devils to come out. And that's precisely what occurred here. This has been building up in Philadelphia for 2 weeks. And what you saw here was something that truly brought out the worst elements in this city. It's a disgrace to the city of Philadelphia, and it should be an embarrassment to every individual who's watching this game today. I was out there this morning, Irv.
Yeah, well, Norm, don't you think that, I don't know, they had over 50 unions out there supporting the players. I got the feeling that in watching the picketing and everything else, it was sort of getting out of hand and moving away really from the players' control and turning into something else.
Absolutely. I think that, as I said, I think the players opened up the bottle. Gene Upshaw opened up the bottle, and I don't know whether they expected in terms of what finally came out of that bottle, but my God, it was a sorry sight out there this morning, Irv.
What can you do as an owner to put an end to something like this?
Irv, I don't know what the heck we can do. We asked the players not to strike. We asked them to agree to have federal mediators come in. They refused that. That request was made a dozen times. And I don't know what more we can do than what we've basically done. I just think it's a tragedy, and it's especially a tragedy for the fans. I mean, the people that came in here today, the few that are here, really braved the most insulting situation and a dangerous situation. My wife wouldn't come here today, Irv.
Oh, I'm sorry. Norm, thanks for being with us. It's a black day in the National Football League, Dick.
Absolutely right. And when you want to talk about a news story and a sports story, you just saw it unravel and unfold before your very eyes. Here is Norman Brayman making some very strong comments about his feelings about his city and what happened here, and his thoughts about Gene Upshaw, certainly his side of it and what has happened. And at the same time, the game goes on, and you were able to hear Brayman, who is sobering in what he had to say, and the game being played on the field. And, you really wonder as you see the game, it's like someone once said it's the toy department of life sports, and you really had the dichotomy there of guys catching and running, first downs, penalties, while Brayman is making these strong comments. The ball now is at the 35-yard line. You saw a couple of the good gains by the Eagles and a penalty as well. We have 5.5 minutes remaining in the first half. It's 14-3 in favor of the Bears. And I think the one thing you get out of what you have seen so far, whether this game is well played or not well played, and so far it's been decently played for the level of non-union players, and that is no one likes what is happening this weekend. I don't think anyone really likes what is going on this weekend. But 2nd and 7 at the 36. Tinsley's pass is incomplete.
Well, while we're having all the problems with the unions and the players and the owners, the game's going on, and this guy, Ryzik, the opportunity to play. He said yesterday as they put it on, and you can see why he's concerned about the way they spelled his name. Look at that, R-Y-C-Z-E-K. I don't know what that is, but he said, I am thrilled to death. Let's put a little light side in it. I am thrilled to death that they spelled it right. He could care less. He wants to leave, go back to work tomorrow morning, and bring on the regulars.
3rd and 7 at the 36, and the Bears coming in to blitz Tinsley, and his pass is incomplete low. Ryzik is a stockbroker in Atlanta. He says he was afraid to call himself. He says, You're on the phone so much as a stockbroker, you get so many rejections. I was afraid to call a team and get another one.
Most of the kids that are actually are playing in this game today, most of them have constantly called the player personnel for both the Bears and the Eagles. Made lots of phone calls, showed up with clippings and film of games they played in, and to get a chance to play in this one game.
Guido Merkins is back to punt. There's the jack of all trades, and he's going to run with it, and he's going to go down with it. So on 4th and 7, Merkins gambled.
Buddy Ryan said yesterday, the one thing that I'm concerned about more than anything is special teams. Now, there's Buddy.
Well, next Saturday at 2:30 Eastern Time, CBS Sports presents college football, and what great games we've had so far this year. The #1 team in the nation, the Oklahoma Sooners, travel to the Cotton Bowl to take on the Longhorns of Texas as these two teams continue one of the sport's most celebrated rivalries. That's college football action next Saturday live at 2:30 Eastern right here on CBS Sports. 1st and 10 Bears on the Eagle 28. Al Walden, number 39, is in the ball game. Goes out as a receiver. He's wide open. There's Walden inside the 10, and he is in for the touchdown. Out of Bemidji State in Minnesota, Al Walden, and a 27-yard play, and the Bears open it up now.
You're going to see Hohensee dropping back, play action, flow action, and all of a sudden Walden wide open. Something that you would expect on play action would be someone to blow the coverage. That's exactly what happened as he catches the ball and finally lays it into the end zone.
Al Walden, who was at the Bears camp.
Get a good look. Bowers, 84. Yeah.
Well, this is their one moment in the sun.
Maybe our only time everywhere. You know, you ever realize that have that C on the top of that helmet, what it means to these kids? All this mess is going on.
The replay, people upstairs are taking a look to see whether Walden did get across before his knee touched, and they're going to take a look now, and we will also.
All right, there's Walden making the catch. Now we're going to find out whether or not as he comes over. You're going to see Bellamy hits him there at the 5. Does the ball break the plane? Whew.
Oh, did he? Or did
Looks
he have
like it landed right on the goal line. In that case, that's a touchdown. Didn't matter if he held on to it. As long as it hit the ground in his hands, it's fine. That's a touchdown.
He stayed in bounds, and of course, all you have to do is cross the plane, and then you can cough it up to your heart's delight.
Well, 5,000 people right now are holding their breath. You can bet on that. We got all these great angles now. Let's look at it again.
Where was the ball when the knee
let's
went
see.
down?
One leg down. Look, does the knee hit? Knees down.
Close.
Hand down at the same time. I don't.
That right knee.
Hey, we're paid to go ahead and make a decision. I'm going to say that they're going to give it to him. What do you think?
On the play, the ball will go on the 1-yard line. First down.
Well, you're 0 for 1 today.
Great. That's beautiful.
0 for 1. Sorry. If you're right the next time, you'll be playing 500 ball, my friend.
And to think I had all those replays and still couldn't make the right call. Of course, you're no help. You never jump out and say anything. I mean, you're play-by-play. I mean, I want to see you jump out every night and kind of put your, your
Who won 4
head
Super
in that
Bowls?
news.
Who won 4 Super Bowls?
No, it's team effort there.
Chris Brewer is into the ball game. Brewer and Walden in the backfield, so they're down at the 1-yard line.
Play action. Why not?
Well, not too many players from Bemidji State have ever scored a touchdown in the NFL. Canceled that one. Let's see what happens here. Did he get over? Yes, touchdown. Walden blocked, and it was Chris Brewer who scores for the Bears. And Chicago adds to it.
Straight blocking right off the left side. Wojciechowski, 73, the left guard. As you can see, 81. Kent kicks out. There's a good lead block by number 38, who melees. He leads inside. Well, there's a good stick right there, too.
So
54.
Yeah.
Kirchbaum really popped him, but to no avail.
Lasher and Sean Payton, who is the backup quarterback holding for the Bears. Penalty markers fly all over the place. Kick was through, however.
Today, 12 men on defense. The extra point is good.
21-3 the score. Bears with a big lead, trying to make it 3-0 in the regular season.
It took 2,000 years, but a revolutionary discovery is changing the way men think about coloring their gray hair. It's called Just for Men, from the leader in men's hair coloring. Simply apply.
Chicago Bears, non-union replacements, leading the Philadelphia Eagles 21-3. With 4 minutes and 19 seconds to go in the first half, Tim Lasher will be kicking off, and Kevin Bowman back for the Eagles. Line drive kick into the end zone, and Bowman's going to run it out. And Bowman upended at the 20-yard line. Well, Mike Quick, who is one of the picketing Eagles outside, did not see Norman Brayman's comments as he spoke to Herb Cross in the press box moments ago, but has some thoughts. Brayman was in the press box, and here's Quick.
Gene lifted the lid to let out the ugly fans. I can't see how they can say that we're responsible at all for someone else's action. The fans in Philadelphia, they support the Eagles. The real Eagles are out here on the line, and they're supporting us. The local unions decided, because this is a union town, and they're not going to support scabs, and the local unions are down here in support of the real Eagles, and that's the gist of it. We don't have any control over what they do. We're asking them to demonstrate peacefully, because this is a peaceful demonstration, and anything that they do other than that, we have no control over.
That was Mike Quick, and that was on tape. That was not live, and his comments when the thoughts of Norman Brayman in the owner's box were relayed to him. Jock Robinson carried. This pass by Tinsley is deflected by Eugene Rowell of the Bears. There's Rowell, who wore red high-top shoes all week in practice, and Mike Ditka said, I hope he doesn't do the same thing for the game. You knew he wouldn't.
Well, one of the things Ditka was amazed at, he said one of the things really stuck out was all the different shoes. You know, the professional players get these shoe contracts, and all these guys were coming in with their college and high school shoes that were 8, 10 years old and breaking up, and cleats were falling off, and it was kind of funny. This guy had red shoes.
It's not even their color. 3rd and 10. Tinsley's pass incomplete. Otis Grant was the intended receiver. So it is 4th down. And Merkins comes in. Jacobs originally was scheduled to do all the kicking for the Eagles. He was shaken up on the opening kickoff, trying to make a tackle. He missed the long field goal, made good on a 27, and here is Merkins kicking, and George Duarte is back for the Bears. After the kick, the punt by Merkins was blocked. Mosley runs it in, and it's a 27-3 game.
Well, you're going to see Guido steps up inside. Not bad. Everything seems to be well, but the ball, you know what happened there? He nearly missed that football. When he dropped the ball down, either the wind got it and moved it out of his hands, or he doggone nearly missed it. As it stands, though, Mosley scores.
And Mosley scored. You mean almost had the Landetta whiff? We nearly had the Landetta whiff. The kick by Lasher is good, and it's now 28-3. So Anthony Mosley, who Mike Ditka singled out as having a shot. You mentioned John Wojciechowski, the left guard. Mosley's another who he thinks could play for the Chicago Bears. For the Chicago Bears, and there's a guy on the Philadelphia Eagles who has really been the talk of the entire week. Where he came from, what kind of guy he is, and how he got to Philadelphia to get ready for these games. His name is Gary Bolden. He is a nose tackle. He's out of Southwest Oklahoma, and a great story, Terry.
This guy has a nickname. You want to tell them their nickname?
Stagger Lee.
Stagger Lee.
He was a pro wrestler under the name Stagger Lee and had an unbeaten record, but even more amazing, how did he get here?
Well, he found out he had an opportunity to come here and play for the Eagles. So one night while he was wrestling, I get this picture, he's wrestling, and he gets a phone call from his manager that, look, you got to be in Philadelphia to play with the Eagles. So he decides, well, how am I going to get out of this match? He stages a broken leg. Now they break his leg. Now they come in on a stretcher, pick him up, carry him off the field, put him in an ambulance, take him to the airport, and fly him to Philadelphia. Stagger Lee.
And that's how Gary Bolden got here, Southwest Oklahoma. I mean, I'm sure there are some incredible stories around the league, but that's got to rank right up there.
I've got so much. This guy is, Buddy Ryan said, this is the funniest human being I've ever been associated with. His buddy's boys, Rex and Bob, his twins, they called up Pop and said, Pop, this guy really, his nickname is Kicking Mule, because he can kick the football clean out of the stadium. But when Buddy and them brought him in as a kicker, he had gained 60 pounds, so he couldn't kick, and they made a tackle out of him. The Kicking Mule, Stagger Lee. Isn't that great?
It sure is. 28-3, and Tinsley on the run. And nearly a terrific catch. Tinsley now 6 for 20, and Bailey, the tight end, had to go high for that attempt. Let's see what's going on around the league in these replacement games. Well, the New Orleans Saints way over the Rams, 27-0. Pittsburgh, after trailing early, has come back to take the lead. Detroit had an early lead over Tampa Bay, and then let's run through the rest of them. Gary Hogaboom, 3 touchdown passes.
Oh, he might make All-Pro off this week.
He crossed the line, didn't he? Redskins still lead. Tinsley's pass, and it's caught, and a fine catch by Jay Repko. Backup tight end, Trimble making the stop. Repko owns a banquet catering business in Pennsylvania.
Local guys.
A lot of them.
Most of these guys came out of their training camps, or guys that their coaching staff had seen in college, or guys that just walked in. A lot of these Eagles had guys just walk in and try out. Say, hey, I'm a punt returner. Great, we need one. You're in there. Give you a number.
3rd down and 2, and Reggie Brown is stopped, and the Bear defense led by Sean McInerney making the tackle. Well, coming up at halftime, Brad and Will McDonough will be in the New York studios to talk things over, and Irv Cross will have an update here in Philadelphia coming up at halftime. Well, we've got great weather today, and if they really had played with the regular players, it would have been a great show, I'm sure, with a capacity crowd and Buddy going against Mike, but that wasn't the case. George Duarte goes back for the Bears. And we have our 2-minute warning right here. The Bears have broken it open with 3 touchdowns here in the second quarter. 28-3, Hemule, Kozlowski, Walden, Brewer, and Mosley. Those are the names of the guys who have scored for the Chicago Bears today. Merkins. And on the run, and it goes past Duarte. Duarte, I guess, doesn't feel he touched the ball, and he didn't. It'll be Philadelphia or Chicago's ball at the 30-yard line, a 39-yard punt. It didn't look like it was going even that far after it left Merkin's foot.
There's a heavy wind coming in the east part of the stadium, and Guido Merkins is a left-footed punter, so he kept it low, and Duarte, it's kind of a nice name, Duarte, that's French, isn't it? French?
Yeah, French, could be...
Anyway, Duarte come flying across there, slung his hand up, could have hit the ball, did not. But the Eagles, they should have fallen on the ball. You never know. You never know. In a game like this, you never know. Grab that rascal and run in the end zone with him.
Mike Hohensee, bartender in Maryland when he got the call.
They're checking right now to find out whether or not Duarte touched the football, I bet.
It's Fred Wyant.
Number 30 was eligible. First down.
Okay, now they're...
Well, I hope so.
Now they're... Evidently, they question whether or not he was eligible.
To play in the game?
The only guy back there catching the punt. Sure, he's eligible.
1st and 10 for the Bears on the 35-yard line. 1:49 remaining in the first half. It's been all Chicago. Hohensee's pass is caught. Nice catch. by Kozlowski, who has scored a touchdown, and he wends his way after 17 yards into Eagle territory at the 47. Well, Mike Hohensee met Mike McCaskey last night for the first time, right?
We were sitting down there, all 3 or 4 of us shooting the breeze with Hohensee, and we asked him, McCaskey walks in, and we said, oh, excuse me, Mike Hohensee, do you know Mike McCaskey? No, I don't. How you doing? I said, well, this is your boss. So they shook hands and greeted one another. This is another one of those strange events the last few days.
Yeah, strange connection.
Innocent little young man meeting his boss in a strange environment.
Hey, Mule caught that pass for a 6-yard pickup. And a timeout has been called by the Bears. Second half of our CBS doubleheader will be the Dallas Cowboys, who have the likes of Ed Too Tall Jones and Danny White and Tony Dorsett back, and the New York Jets, who had Gastineau and Lyons.
Danny White, key figure, because the quarterbacks that have crossed, Hoga Boom's thrown 3 touchdown passes for the Indianapolis Colts, and Danny White coming in. Key men for these games are the quarterbacks. If you have your quarterbacks, you can destroy these teams, because these guys are smart, know what to do with the football, and if you got any kind of receiver at all, you can mop up the points.
What about the protection, though?
Well, that's another problem, but I think the protection will be equal to the pass rush, unless it's veteran players that have crossed, and the Cowboys have that too.
2nd and 2. Bears in Eagle territory. Hohensee nearly intercepted by Troy West of the Eagles, and the pass was intended for Ken Knapsack.
Gutsy throw there. Hohensee stepping back, trying to get the free safety out of there, and drilled it down the middle. Kozlowski, 83, comes inside. Watch this. He goes down the field. Someone runs right up his back, falls flat down on his face, jumps up.
It's quite the acrobat.
Ditka said we got a 2-minute drill, so here we're seeing it. Play call in the huddle, run it off, see what happens.
Hohensee by Hemule, and tough catch.
This is the only game that I wrote these names down were in pronunciation form. What do you call that? H-A-M-A-L-A, you know, that kind of, when it's really H-E-I-L-E-I-G-H, one of those kind of things. Hey,
so in other words, you did it phonetically.
That's the word I was looking for. I wanted you to look good.
I did the same. No, I did the same thing. You ought to see our charts. You know, it looks like we had 25 chickens running over them.
I redid my chart this morning.
Yeah. Here's a chart.
Here's all I'm going to show.
Now look at these.
Look at this garbage.
I don't know which way is up, folks. This way or this way?
Throw this out the window.
That's the chart. 1st and goal at the 3.
I have a real pretty colored chart that I use, but all these changes kind of mess me up. I had that real fancy one where I draw real pretty on it.
You had
all the colors are there. I had a pretty nice chart for this game, believe me.
Purple and the yellow, that was good.
Yeah, but then they threw those Polish names on me and blew me right out. Touchdown.
1st and goal at the 3, and there's a touchdown to Don Kent from Hohensee.
Hohensee might be player of the week.
You don't think that Hohensee could get into that bandwagon with the Bear quarterbacks?
Well, if the Bear quarterbacks are watching this game, and I'm sure they are, McMahon is safe. The other, I guess what? Tom Zach. Yeah,
Tom Zach.
I guess that'd be the guy that has, you know, if Ditka really means it. Well, this guy's throwing a few touchdown passes here, so player of the week, Pro Football Player of the Week could be a real strange event here.
Lasher adds the conversion, and it's a 35-3 game. Hohensee's thrown a lot of poise and ad-libs well under certain situations.
I always loved play action passes at the goal line, because you get so much, everybody jamming down inside, and you get a guy outside, and you get a cheap touchdown pass, and it goes down the record books like that. I like that.
And, you know, if you're a quarterback, you used to do this, rolling out to your left and throwing. You've got to have a decent arm to be able to get it there, even
that's overplayed, Dick. That's stuff you've been reading out of some magazine again. Those are easy passes. Rolling left, throwing to the, back to the left. That stuff's easy. What's hard is a 1-iron off of concrete. That's hard.
Easy for you to say. There's the crowd, and there is the...
Now, notice the empty space there, Dick, where the black wall is. That is where they're supposed to have bleachers for this game, but in putting down the field, they didn't have time or couldn't get the people to put the bleachers up, and so they just said, well, we don't expect more than 5,000, and we've got to build, our building's big enough, so they left the bleachers. Actually, they're stacked over against the wall. Right to the left of that, you can see some brown wood. That's the bleachers that go in on there and fill that up for all the fans that were supposed to be here for the real Bear and real Eagle game.
They had to transform this field after the Phillies finished with the Mets Wednesday. They worked all night long and got it done into the wee small hours Thursday morning. Lasher will be kicking off now for the Bears, and Bowman is back. Short kick, and it's going to be Reggie Brown. Reggie Brown fighting his way out to the 30-yard line with 9 seconds to go. Raymond Morris on the tackle. Hohensee has had a very fine first half. He's hit 8 of his last 10 to open up a huge margin for the Chicago Bears. You know, normally you would see if the home team is losing by 35-3, the fans make their way to the exits early. Now, what's going to happen today?
Well, these folks have missed one game, and as hard as it was for them to get in here for this game, they figure, hey, why leave? We might as well hang around and let all that craziness outside finally absolve itself, and then we'll go home. Besides, you know, nice, beautiful day, sun shines, clear, the wind's blowing a little bit, kind of nice to be out.
We're going to have a re-kick. There was an offsides penalty. And going back for the Eagles is Willie Terrell, number 23. And on the ground, and it's going to be Terrell at the 18. And he gets to the 40. We'll have another play. Raymond Morris making the tackle. 3 seconds remaining. Well, Hohensee has 3 touchdown passes in the game for the Chicago Bears. Ready for this? The record in one game by the Bears, Sid Luckman with 7. Just think of that a little bit. Huh? Think about that possibility.
You know, some people asked me earlier, Terry, why don't you come back and play in this game? I thought, well, you know, it's a good chance here. The man could break a lot of records and have a lot of people mad at him. I don't think it's worth it.
Tinsley. And that'll do it. Time has run out, and that is the end of the first half. With the score, the Chicago Bears 35 and the Philadelphia Eagles 3.